Why do you respond to medical emergencies so irresponsibly? Medical emergencies, they're talking about Shiloh, and she told me specifically not to do anything, repeatedly. So how am I supposed to respond to a medical emergency when the person doesn't want to be taken care of? You know? Like, one time an ambulance did show up, and she refused the ambulance. So, knowing you have so many young subscribers already makes that's already been answered. The 13-year-old minimum on YouTube, and on top of that, there's parental responsibility, and it's just sexual education, and so forth. Everybody's accountable for watching the videos they watch, and if a person talking about sex is extremely offensive, then you shouldn't watch that video where they just talk about sex, which, mind you, people talk about sex in the 4th grade. It's part of sex ed. So sex is not some... I mean, I can talk about violence, but I can't talk about sex. Like, I don't know. It's just like killing is worse than sex, in my opinion. But I can talk about killing all day long and nobody gets offended, but I talk about sex and, oh, I'm the worst person in the world. What kind of action do you take to support the cases you claim, i.e. rape victims? To support the causes you claim to. Oh, just talking to people. Like, I've donated... I know when I was in the military, I donated $600 to $1,000 to RAIN and women's shelters and so forth. I've donated a lot of money to them. And on top of that, I have a link on my site supporting rape victims and supporting World Hunger. I also have made multiple videos supporting rape victims and saying, you guys stand up for yourself and make sure, you do what you can to make sure that you get evidence or whatever of that actual crime occurring, and just basically help other people be safe by, standing up for yourself and making sure that, other people know this is what this person does. So that's a good thing to do. I'm totally against rapists. I'm totally against people being violated and all that. And if anybody's ever said no to me, I say, okay, no problem. Because I cannot be aroused by resistance. It's just... And I wish everybody was like that. I wish everybody was turned off by people being resistant. Because it's like, how could you be attracted to someone who doesn't want to be with you? Who clearly indicates that they don't want to be with you. Okay, so... Why do you have to guilt trip people into being vegetarians rather than approach the subject positively? Because it's a horrible experience. Like, it's a horrible subject. Have you guys seen what happens in slaughterhouses? Like, the reason people guilt trip is because there's so much guilt in it. Someone else says, was the jailbait worth it again? Nothing illegal ever occurred. So... Dun-dun. Were you not aware that doing so without parents' consent could garner you a felony charge if parents' Canadian authorities see fit? In Canada, the legal age is 16, and the I don't even want to talk about the parents because that's bringing other people in it. But there was no one trying to stop us or anything. Like, we were in an area where everything was legal. So I mean, it becomes a taboo situation, doesn't it? So anybody who keeps talking about jailbait and all that, I feel like it's unfair in the sense that there was nothing illegal. So it just comes down to your opinions, and you guys are just forcing your opinions on me at that point, right? When you start talking about that, you're just basically giving me a hard time for something I didn't even do wrong. Someone says, why hasn't your entertainment progressed with time? It's just regurgitated material over and over again, blah, 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 blah. Basically, someone's asking, why aren't my videos entertaining more so than they were before? And I disagree with that. I think they're very entertaining, but that's just an opinion, right? It's hard to, kind of factually pretend that something is or isn't entertaining when it's all opinions. What's the difference between you and a vegan? Why do you think vegans are stupid for their beliefs? I never said... Did I say vegans are stupid? I think it's unreasonable to not support bees, but I don't know about stupid. Vegans are great. I fucking love vegans. I don't know why people think I don't love vegans. They do a very good thing by supporting, vegetarian and vegan alternatives. And that just encourages more people to stop, turning animals into poop. You said before regarding SOPA that you were okay with the censorship. Why is it now you're on the opposing bandwagon? I actually said that I wasn't sure about SOPA. I'm being misquoted or misunderstood on that. SOPA, I said, could be good if it was done right. Okay? So let's not misunderstand me. When Shiloh was pregnant, did she consume food that was approved by a doctor or pregnancy, or was she... No, we didn't have a doctor talk about what she could and could not eat. The doula didn't indicate anything. She just said Shiloh was on prenatals. Yeah, she was taking those pills, so she was getting everything that she needed on top of the vegetarian diet, which is very healthy. So she literally had everything she needed. When Shiloh was pregnant, did you ever do anything about the mouse infestation? The mold issues in our kitchen. We didn't have mold issues in our kitchen. I didn't see any mold. Okay. The mouse infestation, we tried to catch them with a live mouse trap, and they disappeared. Like, the mice, like, once we set the trap, they just literally just appeared. We didn't see them since, so it was really weird. Regarding the status you posted on Facebook about your recent ex, stating she tried to kill herself and was in the hospital hanging out, why do you think that was inappropriate behavior involving a person that was possibly suicidal? What? I don't know what you're talking about. That tried to kill herself. I think people trying to kill themselves because they got out of a relationship is unreasonable. I think they should get therapy for that. If you try to kill yourself because of that, because you clearly need help, right? You need help recovering. Why do you expose minors to dangerous sexual practices such as autoerotic asphyxiation when you why do I do that? It's a joke. That was a joke. Like, this is the thing. Okay, Family Guy's allowed to do, everything in the book, right? They're allowed to tell rape jokes. They're allowed to make pedophile jokes. They're allowed to do all these things. And how are they held accountable? That's on Fox. Everyone can see that. You don't need to be 13 to sign up or anything to see that. Everybody can see that, right? Well, then again, everyone can see YouTube. Point is that if Family Guy can do whatever they want, and their audience can be whatever age, I think it comes down to parental responsibility as far as YouTube goes too. Okay? So, no one's being hurt. It's a joke. So try not to take it seriously. Like, it's a joke. It's on a comedy channel. And in fact, what I did was I showed people how to auto-asphyxiate if they had to in a safe way. Because a lot of people kill themselves doing that. And if you do it this way, where you actually have a release, you're going to most likely be safe. But at the same time, I said don't do it either way. Because you shouldn't auto-asphyxiate. I was just saying, if I were to do it, that's what I would do. So whatever. I thought that video was helping people, but apparently haters want to make it mean. Someone says, why do you make your videos unflaggable? That's not an option. And they say it violates the terms of service. The flaggability, it depends on whether or not you have a show. If you have like something that's classified as a show, you can't flag it. So that's actually a YouTube feature. That has nothing to do with me, really. Why do you feel it's inappropriate to tell your teen or preteen viewers to shave their pubic hair? I was talking to the general audience. I was talking to the general audience of YouTube. And people want to slant it to act like I'm talking just to kids. My demographics are actually higher than normal, in my opinion, than the average channel where, a lot of channels are a lot of kids, but I have a lot of 20-plus users who I'm talking to. And it's like, so I can't, because parents aren't watching what their kids are looking at online, I have to dumb everything down so I can't, get on the level and talk to you guys like human beings. Like, I don't get that. So why I feel like I should be able to talk about people grooming their pubic hair. Like, I don't see what's wrong with that. That's not bad in any way. Grooming is good. And again, people in 4th grade are given sex ed, and those people are younger than the people that are allowed to be on YouTube. Okay, why can't you make a direct apology to the person that you're recently attacking? I won't apologize for telling the truth. Okay? I won't. I won't apologize for telling the truth about what happened between us, especially when I didn't even say their name. If you guys want me to apologize for lying, of course I would apologize, but I don't lie. Like, I don't remember the last time I lied. I think the last time I lied was about looking at anime porn. I looked at anime porn a long, long time ago, and I apologized because I was in a relationship when I did it. Okay? That happened, and that was a mistake. And I got dumped because of that. And I begged, I sobbed hysterically and begged for her back. And she eventually, said, okay, I'll be back with you, but you can never do that again. But that's a mistake I made, and I was honest about it. Okay? I lied about it, and it lasted maybe 13 hours, and then I said, you know what, I lied about that, and I'm sorry. And that's the last lie I remember telling, and that was like over a year ago. Okay, why do you use ignorance as a scapegoat when you can easily rectify a situation otherwise? I don't know what that question means. I have no idea what that means. Why do I use me not knowing as a way to get out of something when I could easily resolve the situation otherwise? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you rephrase that? Why did you feature Sky and then say you didn't watch any of her videos and then later attack her not long after with any pro? I didn't do that. What are you talking about? You got to be more specific in these questions. I didn't attack Sky. I don't watch her videos. I don't watch her videos because it's weird for me to watch her videos. I mean, it just feels weird. Why did you videotape Shiloh in the Truth video as well as your local police when in your state doing is illegal? Is it? Is it illegal? Well, I removed the video, so if it's still online, it's whatever. Yeah, if that happened, that's a mistake, and I would need to apologize for that. So I'm sorry if that was wrong of me to do. However, Shiloh and I got together after that video, so she didn't have a problem with it. Like, she never once complained about that video to me. So I don't remember ever complaining. I don't remember her ever complaining to me. So, were you raised as an indigo child? I don't know what that is. Did Shiloh get her family's advice whether or not to initially date you, like yourself? Advice from your fans, dating, age change, relationships. I think again, I don't want to bring her parents into it. That's weird. So I'm not going to discuss that. That's really, I don't want to go into that. Did you take the fertility test to debunk Shiloh's pregnancy? Test doesn't mean to defame her. I took that as, here's the thing. Shiloh actually was not telling the truth about that, and I found out that she wasn't telling the truth when I actually had her fly back. She said, well, guess what? I'm actually not pregnant. She said she miscarried many months prior. So I was like, okay, well, that's okay. I accept it, and we'll move on. But I did take that to kind of prove to an extent that I have a hard time getting people pregnant. However, it obviously wasn't accurate because the doula said that she was pregnant later on. So I'm like, well, I guess. But then again, it says if there's even the slightest, faintest line in the results, then that means that that you are capable of having kids. And when I showed it, it was actually slightly overexposed. So that's why it actually didn't show that faint line. But the faint line was there. And I never actually officially said, I, Greg, am incapable of impregnating anybody. I just said, what does that look like? So that, plus the overexposure, is technically misleading in that sense. And I admit to that. It was technically misleading because it was slightly overexposed, which didn't allow you to see a very, very faint line. The faint line was extremely, extremely, extremely faint, which means that you're not as potent. So it was kind of like someone said, Did you go to the grocery store today? And it's like, well, you did order something from the grocery store online, but technically you didn't go to the grocery store, and so therefore you say no. It's kind of like that, It has a very gray area, but that was a comedy sketch, so I didn't feel like I was responsible to be literal, considering it was comedy. But yeah, she did get pregnant according to the doula. So after that. On the medical bill, did you notice there was a standard blood screening? Did you also know it's illegal to read people's mail and broadcast it online? She didn't. If the person consents, it's completely fine. So again, like you guys are acting like Shiloh protested me sharing any information with you or any videos with you, and she never protested them. Like I never saw her protest anything, and if she did, then she didn't say it to me. Okay. So anybody who's saying, you did this, that's illegal, this is illegal, this is illegal, this is illegal, she has never complained to me about anything. And she's the person who used to say it's illegal, not you guys. Okay? So with that being said, I have actually answered a ridiculous amount of questions. So, I want this to be thorough. I want you guys to be satisfied. I want you guys to to be unable to, you know, continue to question and question and question and question everything I do, in the sense that I'm talking to you guys thoroughly about all of this as a human being, one human being to another. So, I mean, I've answered all these questions. What else is there? What else is there? Okay. So I guess that's it, guys. If you have questions in the future, come to onision.net/contact. And I guess this is it. I went through everything. I did everything. I've answered everything. Cool. Well, hopefully you guys can see how incredibly consistent, how honest I've been. This has been 2 hours of me purely being honest as usual. Thanks for watching, and to everybody who believes in me and has supported me all this time, congratulations. You're right.